All right, well, this is May 31st, and I just got done doing a giant fertilization of everything around the whole yard with some immediate fertilizer because they needed some nutrients after this weird weather we've been having where it's kind of fluctuated temps and it's unseasonably cool, but then it gets like highs and lows that, I don't know, plants probably just don't like that. So we got our little planters. And I have to point out one thing. My little petunias that I grew from seed. A lot of other stuff I grew from seed, like the vegetables, but we have the gold cherry tomato, and it's up to the second rung, so responding nicely. Finally, the cucumbers are coming up, and they have their actual real leaves coming up. So the ones on this trellis are dragon egg cucumbers, which will look like little white eggs. And then these are just your straight slicers. So yeah, you see finally those real leaves are coming up finally because it's warm enough. So that's good. We have a rosemary that I bought because rosemary is hard to grow. I do have a couple that I started from seed, but they're kind of that is early girl slicer. So that is an early girl slicer right there. This one is like a beefsteak, but it looks like a yellow shaped heart with red inside. So I'm really excited to try that one. I got that from the store, well, the garden center, and I can't wait to see what it's like. We have a bunch of peppers and some eggplant right there. That's a white eggplant. And there is actually a white eggplant fruit on it, but it's on the other side, so you can't see it. Come on, Sel. This is your traditional eggplant, I believe. And I believe that also has fruit on it, but it's kind of hidden. Roma. This is a baby boomer cherry tomato, so tons of little cherry tomatoes are going to be on that, and that's your traditional eggplant. Looks a little sad, but it does have fruit on it, so that's exciting. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. But maybe right there. That guy, that will be an eggplant. And there is healthy growth on it, so it's coming back. It just didn't like the weather that we were having, so with the fertilization, that'll do well. And all these little tan colored things are helicopter seeds from the maple trees. Don't worry, the chipmunks will eat them and they will not seed, most likely. But yes, lots of pepper plants. I did put some marigolds in there to try to deter the chipmunks, but that wasn't apparently a deterrence for them. A little fun thing was right here. We redid where I had my fencing for my vegetable garden, and I used to have a big pot, and it was that pot, and I had snapdragons in it every year. Well, every year the snapdragons come back, so that's fun. Nature always finds a way. So it looks like these are going to be the purple ones, but hey, you never know, they might have crossbred and they might be a different color. But there's even little baby ones after my dad did some weed whacking, so they're still there. Those are weeds I need to take out. There, those are bad ones. I believe that's thistle. Come on, Stelly Bear. So this will be a living fence eventually, but that is a white lilac bush, and if you've seen my other videos, it was basically a stick when I first planted it. That is the other white lilac bush, and it's done flowering and it's putting on more growth, and it's actually getting quite big, so that I'm really pleased with the growth on that. That is a miniature lilac bush that they bush out to like 4 feet, and it reblooms for the season, and it's putting on new growth after it dropped its flowers. That one's dropping its flowers now, and we'll do the same thing later. And then we have all the flower pots that Jessica, Kendra, and Valen came up and helped me and my mom paint, and they look lovely. We needed a little color splash. The hibiscus are coming up, even though it's very hard to see. This one's taking a little longer because I think there's just a little bit more shade here, but you can see the stalks coming up. And then there's another hibiscus. Pretty nice. Nice little stockies. And then this one's doing really well because there's more sun here, aside from the helicopters. But doing very nice. So it'll be very colorful once everything is fully popping. The hibiscus don't generally bloom until July-ish, August. So they're a late bloomer, but that'll be a nice pop of color. This is the hibiscus bush that it looks like it's dead, but it's not. It's finally coming back to life, if you can see that. My mother never believes me that it's gonna come back, and it's coming back. It just takes longer because it likes warmer weather. So she's a big one. I believe I planted it here probably 4 or 5 years ago, but it looks really pretty. It looks like very green bush with little ballerina pink skirts all over it. So we have that, and then the rescue miniature lilac bush. Yeah, it's very nice, Stella, huh? And then if you watch the last video, this almost looked pretty bare, I think, and now it's just fully popping with all the different perennials. This is yarrow that I planted from seed in my basement, and I believe it was just like a tiny little chunk that we planted that was probably like this in my hand, and it just spread. So if anybody wants some yarrow, let me know. We can split that. And same for this. This is also a different variety of yarrow. It's got little tiny pink flowers on it. Also can split that. Same for that. Bee balm, more yarrow. Let's see what we got. Come in, Silly Bear. Little planter. Popping. Looking nice. Filling out. There is a dahlia in the center, and then other just little annuals like marigolds and other things to keep the animals away. Oh, there's a little squirrel. I don't know if you can see him in the background. He's in the shade. Stella does not like him. Yep. Come on, Stella. My apple trees are doing really nicely, the columnar ones. If you can actually tell on the bottom, it looks like the rabbits have been pruning the bottom, but the deer finally cannot get to them with my fencing. So that's a nice bonus. The planter in the front looks really cool. It's starting to fill out. So the ones in the back are snapdragons. They're going to be tall eventually, probably by July, and they'll have all sorts of different color flowers on them. Those I did in the basement from seed. And then the ones in the front here, shut up, honey, it's okay. The ones in the front are just annuals that I got at the garden center. So yeah, it'll be really pretty. Okay, thank you. Thank you for telling us about that. Little solar creatures protecting my apples. Another little planter. Looks like crap because mud and grass. All right, we'll go to the back. Oh, wait. One other thing that I always forget to video. My cherry bush that I planted from a tiny little twig is actually quite big now. If you see like my first video I ever took, looked like a tiny little stick, and now it's an actual, well, that's gonna be upside down when you guys watch it, but whatever, you get it. It's pretty cool. Next year maybe it'll be huge. We'll see. Stella's very excited by all the animals. Enjoy the comedy. What are you doing? Is that a squirrel? A squirrel. A squirrel. Okay, come on. Don't kill me, please. All right. Sun's really pretty right now. So obviously marigolds and things like that, but there are quite a few herbs here. So we have, I believe this is oregano, other oregano. So this is more like an Italian oregano, Greek oregano, Roma. There's some basil coming up, rosemary. This is thyme. And I have basil just scattered through here. I just dropped a bunch of seeds to see what would happen. Same right there, more basil. This is just a cherry tomato plant that I bought. And then this one is called, another one I bought, it's called a tomato indigo rose. So I believe it's kind of like, not quite a cherry, a little bit bigger and not a slicer. So it's like maybe like a tennis ball sized tomato. And then there's a zucchini that I planted far too close, but whatever. And as you can see, we're trying to regrow the grass back here from the flooding, and it's turning out pretty good. Except for some of the patches we did put sod in the middle. There must be a chipmunk. Come on, Sal. Potatoes. Turning up nice. I just actually hilled them up today and added more soil in the bag, so they looked a lot more poppin', but I added more soil, so they're kind of like, weh. But that's good for the potatoes so that they can develop their little root offshoots so I can eat. And the rose garden, I did plant that. I got that at the nursery, so it already had flowers on it. But the rest of the rose bushes, so there's that one, which I planted for my Aunt Meg after she passed. And that one has like an apricot colored rose with almost like a rose lipstick tint on it. You guys will see it later. I honestly cannot remember what that rose bush color is. And I'll have to go back to videos. I keep saying that. That one is yellow. Right there. That one is red. This one is an apricot crawling rose, and I want to say that one's a white one right here. So there's 7 different rose bushes. It's gonna look really pretty. There's a ton of little buds, if you will, so you can kind of see the buds right there. There's a bud, and they're all over the different roses. So I think next week when it gets to the 80s, they say, we'll have a lot of blooms, hopefully. Come on, baby. So my dream heaven, the rose garden was for my grandma Rose. I kind of did that with my mom last year, and then this year I wanted to do an homage to my grandma Henricks, who really loved geraniums. So I got 20 geraniums, and they're all around the whole patio so that the deer can't eat them. But yeah, a lot of little flowers here. This is the rescued lilac bush that is doing really well. It looked dead a few weeks ago, so it's coming back really nice. We'll plant it later. Hanging baskets. My green stalk, which has tons of strawberries. Not yet strawberries. Well, there is actually one, but the foliage is growing, except for maybe this guy. This guy doesn't look so happy. And then there's lettuce, herbs, cilantro, which apparently I need to do something with this. Rosemary, I did put one random pepper plant in there. Obviously the lettuce, which always does so well. And we've been eating this. We've gotten tons of salads off of this, and it just keeps growing. So I guess that's one thing to be grateful about the cooler weather. This hasn't bolted, and it's just like, it's crunchy. Hear that? Those are now dead. I'm fairly certain they're not going to be coming back. So I'll be, yeah, these are dead. My poor citrus trees, but what are you going to do? Citrus is not meant for Wisconsin. Again, more stuff. You can see the potatoes from this side, flowers. It looks really cool lit up with all the nighttime lights too. I'll try to take a video at night. My seed-grown petunias, again, very excited. These are multicolored, so it's always a surprise with which flowers are going to come up. But this is like a dark purple, a yellow, and then like a blue almost. So this one will be really pretty in the chicken. This is my cow, which the petunias that I grew from downstairs seed are already like popping. And I was surprised. I thought they were all going to be white, and there you go. We got a little purpley blue one, which is very pretty. This is the apple tree that I started from seed because I was making applesauce and I found a seed in an apple that I was peeling that was sprouted. So I was like, I'll just plant it. And it became a tree. So that'll hopefully be a granny sniff in my yard someday. Once it gets big enough. I did up pot that today, so we'll see. These are strawberries that the chipmunks keep eating. So worst case scenario, if they keep being little assholes, I'm going to take that and kind of dig them out and put them in that planter for the spots that aren't doing quite as hot. This, Stella, watch out, is my Carolina Reaper that I thought was going to die, and it didn't. And it came back, and it's going really nicely. I kept it downstairs last year over winter because this was actually in the garden last year. So I kept it alive because I just wanted the hottest pepper, aside from Pepper X, but this is the next one. So it's coming back, and can't wait to make hot sauce. And then this is the other green stalk. Lots of lettuce, some beans, and herbs. This is gonna be beans if the chipmunks don't eat them. Basil. And then I did do a banana pepper. And then this was melons. And the temperature has sucked. The seeds have not germinated. I'm fairly certain they've rotted. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna plant some baby size like pickling cucumber seeds in here, and you know, knowing my luck, I'll get cucumbers and melons, whatever. So more herbs here, rosemary, thyme, can't have enough of that when you're cooking. And then all different flowers, like there's dahlias that I planted downstairs, some petunias, more dahlias. This is the geranium that my mother has kept alive for several years. More geraniums that I got, more dahlias that I planted, some marigolds, things like that. And then just a bunch of flowers in front of my bedroom window. Geraniums, mixed variety of petunias, snapdragons, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that is the garden tour. I hope you all are having a lovely day, and see you in June, I guess tomorrow.